Hey everybody. So the first thing I should probably do is apologize for the sound quality on this video. It's actually quite windy out here today, and I'm sure the microphone on the camera is going to pick up a lot of that wind noise. But I was already out here and I thought, well, might as well go ahead and do it and we'll see how it turns out. So again, sorry about the sound quality. So what we have today is the Dominion Arms Grizzly. Now in many ways this isn't a particularly remarkable shotgun. It's simply a Chinese copy of a Remington 870. But what is kind of interesting is this short 8-inch barrel. Now what can you do with an 8-inch barrel? Well, that makes it a fantastic little firearm for something like wilderness carry, backpacking, canoeing, kayaking, hiking, any kind of activity where you want to have a firearm with you, but you're not hunting, so you don't really want to carry some great big long gun with you. Now in some countries, of course, you can also carry a handgun for that purpose, but here in good old Canada, we're not allowed to do that unless you have a special permission slip from the government, which is pretty darn hard to get for most people. So what makes this really a great little gun for wilderness carry is not just the overall length of the firearm. I mean, it's nice and short, so you can backpack it or put it in the bottom of your canoe or whatever. But it's really, really great because it's a 12-gauge shotgun. And the 12-gauge is probably the most versatile firearm ever invented. You can take small game with this gun. You can shoot rabbits and squirrels and stuff like that. You can defend yourself against a bear or a rutting moose or any other large animal you may encounter. All you have to do is switch ammunition, of course. You can use shot for small game, and you can put in slugs and buckshot for large game. So it really can do everything. The only thing you can't do with a 12-gauge shotgun is shoot long, long distances. But most of the time out in the wilderness, in the woods, you can't see very far anyway. So most of the shooting you're likely to do is going to be pretty close. You can even shoot flares out of a gun like this. You can get 12-gauge signal flares. So if you've got this gun and a pocket full of assorted shells and maybe a couple flares thrown in there, you've got pretty much all your bases covered. There's really nothing that you can't do with this gun. So that's all I'm going to say about that because it's pretty darn cold out here. So let's do some shooting. So I've set up downrange. I've set up 3 of these little watermelons down there. These are a pretty good analog for, a small animal that you might want to take with this gun, like say a rabbit or a squirrel, or maybe even a little grouse, something like that. Set them down there. I'd say that's about, 30, 35 yards away. We'll see if I can hit them. So cold out here, I can hardly make my hands work. So, we'll see how I did. Welcome to Canada. Well, as you can see, with number 4 shot, we've got a fairly big spread. Basically, we've peppered this entire berm here. Now, would I have gotten any of these little bunny rabbits? Well, it appears that one got away. This one didn't. nice hits in it. So that bunny rabbit's definitely in my stew pot. And so's this one here. Yeah, got a couple good hits in that one. This one's bleeding. So at whatever that was, 35 or 40 yards, that's about maximum with the number 4, I'd say, for shooting at bunny rabbits. I would have gotten 2 out of the 3. We'll have to try that again a little bit closer. So it's actually been about 20 minutes since I shot them the first time. As it's so cold out here, my camera battery froze, and I had to go in and warm it up. So we've moved up to, I don't know, I guess that's about 25 yards now. We'll take 3 more shots, see if we do any better. Try her again. Let's go take a look. Okay. So moving up that few yards made a huge difference. I clearly got every single one of these little buggers. As you can see, this one's quite messed up, but they're all hit. So quite clearly, if you're out camping, you need a gun for, taking some small game in a survival situation, defending yourself, against a bear attack or some other kind of large animal, this gun would do the trick. And in fact, I wouldn't mind using it just to, take a leisurely walk in the woods looking for some bunny rabbits or something. As long as you're aware of the max distance that you can take your shot at. As this shows, 25, 30 yards, you've got a real good chance of taking that little animal. You wouldn't want to stretch it much beyond that, really, but it's an effective little gun. So, camera froze again, so I thought I'd come in and get warm and take a few minutes to actually talk just about the gun itself. First thing up, fit and finish. It's not really very good. The finish looks a lot like it was done with a can of spray paint. It's very uneven, very inconsistent. It's rough in some spots, smooth in others. It's really not a very nice finish job on it. The muzzle here looks kind of like it was cut off with a hacksaw. It wasn't. It was done in the factory, but it certainly doesn't look like, a normal finished shotgun muzzle. The sling swivels, they look kind of like they were done in a blacksmith shop in about 1860. They really do look handmade. What else? Oh, inside it's full of machining marks still. They don't bother to, clean up the inside. But that really doesn't matter, any of that stuff, because if you use this gun for what it was kind of intended for, which in my opinion is out in the woods, backpacking, canoeing, in the back of your pickup truck, you don't want a gun with beautiful shiny finish on it and nice lovely wood stock or anything. You want a gun that you don't really care if you beat it up a little bit. And you're certainly not going to care if you beat this gun up. It's almost already beat up when you get it. None of that affects how it works, though. It works really, really well. So yeah, fit and finish ain't great, but what does it matter? Now, one final thing I don't like about this gun, that's the front sight. For me, this front sight is just too low. Some other people might disagree with me. They might say the front sight's just fine. I guess that's a personal opinion, but for me, it's too low. I'm going to replace that with something that's got a little bit higher profile. I tend to shoot a little high with this gun. I have to compensate and shoot low. And I'm convinced it's because of that front sight. I have a tendency to want to raise the sight up a little bit so I can see it a little better, and that, of course, raises the muzzle, and I tend to shoot a little bit high. Now, one could say that that's just my bad shotgunning skills. Well, okay, yeah, you can say that. But for me, I want a higher front sight. And a couple other guys at the club that have tried it, they also tend to shoot a little bit too high with it until they get the hang of it and they start shooting a little lower. But of course, the front sight's a real easy change up. I just haven't quite decided what I want to do, if I want just a higher brass bead front sight or if I want to go to something a little different. But that's definitely something I'm going to do, is change that front sight out. It's just too low for me. Other than that, I think it's a pretty good gun. I'm quite pleased with it. I like it. And I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, and it's sort of a safety issue, and it's to do with this short barrel. Normally, when you close the action of a shotgun, you've got a foot or even more of barrel in front of it. This one you don't. And if you're like me and you have a tendency to put this thumb forward, as you can see, my thumb is about 1/4 of an inch from that muzzle. Which is okay. I haven't hurt myself yet. And I'm pretty sure that's why they put this little nubby thingy right here. I don't know what you call that really, and that is simply to keep your hand from sliding forward. If your hand ever, slid in front of this when you were pumping and you fired it, you could do yourself quite a severe injury. So, now I have sort of medium-sized hands, but I think someone with really gigantic hands might want to be pretty careful where they put this thumb. I'm not really sure what you should do with this thumb. It certainly doesn't feel right to curl it in front like that. But again, if you look, when I hold that the way I want to hold it, I am really close to that muzzle. So that certainly is something to be aware of. Well, it seems to have warmed up a little bit out here now, so we'll try this again. One of the things I just want to touch on is this persistent rumor or legend, call it what you will, that short-barreled shotguns are somehow inherently evil or more dangerous than longer-barreled shotguns. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know, gangster days, Hollywood movies, who knows. But people seem to think that you can, fire one shot from a short-barreled shotgun like this and literally spray an entire room with shot. And it's really just not true. You'll see from the demonstration we're going to do here that the shot from this 8-inch barrel will not spread significantly more than the shot from this 18-inch barrel. It's just one of those old rumors that have been around for years. So I've set up a couple targets down there, about, just over 10 yards, I guess. We'll fire one with this, and we'll fire one with this shorter one, and we'll see what kind of difference it makes. So, 10 yards, number 4 shot, 8-inch barrel. Inch barrel, number 4 shot, 10 yards. Okay, so I'm not real sure how well this is going to show up on the camera. We'll see when we go inside. But as you can see, there really isn't that much difference between the 8-inch shotgun and the 18-inch shotgun. The shot size is just about the same. This one I shot a little bit high with. If you remember, I have a tendency to do that. This one's right on. Now this one's got a great big hole in it, but that's from the wad that came out of the shotgun, so that really doesn't count for anything. That's just a plastic wadding. But it shows you right there. Short shotgun, long shotgun. Doesn't really make that significant a difference. So I brought the targets in so we could get a little bit better look at them. And as you can see from these pictures, the 8-inch barrel gave us a shot spread of 21 inches, whereas the 18-inch barrel gave us a shot spread of 19 inches. So that's really only 2 inches difference. So there you have it, the Dominion Arms Grizzly 12-gauge shotgun.